I don't know if you've ever been a place like this where you just look out and you see creation and you just see the glory of God. All of creation declares His glory. And you know, there's a sense of His presence when you see His beauty and His splendor in creation. And He releases His presence. And oh, just to come to a place like this and spend time in prayer is so powerful. But you know, there have been times in my life where I could be at a place like this and I did not sense God's presence. And I want to tell you about that. You see, a number of years ago, I used to come to a very beautiful place and I would have my time alone with God and spend time with Him, and oh, His presence was so real, and every day I would meet with Him, and it was such a precious time for me. But one day I went out and He seemed so far away. And I didn't know why. I mean, I was out in a beautiful spot. His creation declared His glory. And yet I didn't sense His presence, that manifest presence. I knew He was there, but I didn't sense it, and I didn't know why. And I prayed and I said, God, what's wrong? And the Lord reminded me there was someone who had done some things to me that had hurt me deeply. And it was a pastor friend, and he had said some things that were lies, and it hurt my ministry, it hurt me personally. And I was holding that bitterness in my heart. And the Lord said, Sammy, you must forgive him. You have to forgive him. And I said, God, I can't forgive him. Don't you understand what he's done to me? Don't you understand what he said to me? I said, Lord, how can I forgive him? And the Lord said, I forgave you, and you can draw from that grace that I placed in your heart when I forgave you, and you can forgive him. In that moment, I reached deep in my soul and deep in my heart, and I pulled out the grace of God, and I said, God, I forgive that man. And the Lord said, you need to meet with him. You need to take him out to eat. And I went out to eat with him, and I'll never forget whenever I went out. When we sat down, he said, Sammy, I know what I did was wrong, and I am so sorry. And I realized something, that you see, I could have held that bitterness in my heart, and it wouldn't have hurt him at all. The only person it would have hurt would have been me. And so that's what happens to so many of us. We wonder when we pray, Lord, where are you? What's going on? Why don't I sense your presence? It may be there's someone that you haven't forgiven, that you need to forgive. I tell you what, when I went back to that place, that spot that I love to go and pray, after I talked to that man, and I went back to that spot, and the presence of God was there. The creation declared his glory, but along with that, my heart was filled with his love and that joy that comes from being in his presence. Oh, I tell you, you need to spend time in the presence of the Lord. He will be with you, but you must forgive those. If you say it's impossible, I can't do it, you go to him and you say, God, help me, give me the grace to reach down. And you reach down and take that grace that Christ placed in your heart when he forgave you, and you forgive those who have hurt you, and his manifest presence will be there once again.